join me in thanking these guys for being here.
54. I've served on the Board of Education in Chatham County for the last 2 years. I've been elected 3 times for that seat. I'm on the State School Boards Association Board of Directors for the Finance and Budget Committee. I have served my district well. I think education is extremely important, and I think good schools and good performance is the key to getting good jobs. I think that the issues that we have to attack are restoring the funding for public education, finding a way to attract more jobs in industry and encourage small business in our district, and keeping our environment clean, keeping our water clean and our air clean. Those are the issues that I'm most interested in talking about. As I said, I've been on the Board of Education. We've seen cuts in funding to education, over $1 billion in cuts over the last 2 years, and we have seen a 20% cut in preschool education. I think that if we were on the right track with education in North Carolina, we were being recognized nationally for our programs, and to start cutting funds for education is going to take us backwards. We need to be a place that looks like we appreciate education if we're going to attract high-paying jobs in a high-tech industry. I would really appreciate your vote, and I look forward to my questions.
Thank you very much. Cathy Wright, 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all for coming, and I'm very happy to be here to introduce myself. I'm Cathy Wright, one of the North Carolina State House 54. Since we're from Chatham, I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to introduce myself. My husband and I moved here 10 years ago. He is a pediatric ophthalmologist at UNC, and we have 2 children who are grown. Karen is married. She has 2 of her own, a 6 and 4-year-old, and they live in Arlington, Virginia. And my son is an Air Force Academy graduate as well as an F-15 fighter pilot. And he is currently deployed, but we got a message that he is on his way home. Hopefully he will get back safely, and he and his wife are expecting a baby in December. I grew up in a small business, and my entire family worked for my dad, so small business is near and dear to my heart. However, I did go into the healthcare arena. I was a nurse educator, as well as an executive director of medical societies and a lobbyist representing health advocacy groups like the American Cancer Society. My platform is all about jobs in the economy, and that's something very important here in Lee County, and I look forward to answering further questions.
Thank you very much. All right, our first question will be the same first question I asked in the Senate District 12 race, and we'll begin with you. That's right. North Carolina's unemployment rate has shown slight improvement in the last year, but just 4 states have a higher unemployment rate than we do. Tell us one specific way the state legislature can address that, and why you think it would have an impact.
As I said, it's all about jobs in the economy for me. We need to provide an environment where jobs can grow. And to do that, we need to reduce regulatory burdens. We need to be competitive through lower taxes and infrastructure development. And we need to increase education quality and outcomes. The best thing the government can do is stay out of the way and let our businesses do what they do best, and that is grow jobs. With jobs, there's more people working, they have more income, they invest back in their businesses, and our economy will recover.
Thank you. Mr. McManus, 2 minutes.
It's funny because right now this is the one subject where Mrs. Wright and I agree on many of these issues as far as bringing jobs to this area. Currently there's a fund called the North Carolina NC1 Small Business Fund that helps to fund small businesses. It helps with grants, it helps with advice for small businesses. I would want to continue supporting this, just as Bob Atwater did when he was your senator in Lee County. He's been a big supporter of this fund. I think it's very important that we protect our small businesses. They're our most stable source of jobs. While a large industry is wonderful, and it's great to have it come in, if they leave a lot of people unemployed. We have seen that in my hometown of Siler City, when Townsend's packed up and left, and it left so many chicken farmers with nowhere to sell the chickens. so many people unemployed. So I think we have to continue to encourage small business. With my husband, I run a small business. He is a one-doctor family practice in Sanford City, and I help manage that business. I know how it hurts when a town loses the jobs. We have felt that impact as people inside the city have lost jobs. So I know that it's important to support. I believe in providing tax breaks for small businesses. I've already been approached by some small business people about eliminating some complicated regulations that serve no purpose, and I think that's a wonderful idea, and I'm all for that. I do believe education and our community colleges are going to be key to attracting and training people for the businesses in our area.
Thank you very much. Question number 2, and we'll start with you. The Lee County portion of this district is rather small, but contains much of downtown Sanford. Tell us your strategy in this newly drawn district to serve the needs of that portion of Lee County that you'll represent.
It's an interesting section of Lee County because you have a lot of low-income people in that small district. It's, I think you were told earlier, it's 25% of the county, but it includes 65% of Sanford. Now, I think I have been discovering that Sanford is a wonderful little town. Considering that I've lived in Siler City for 25 years and Chatham County for a total of 30 years, I should have known more about Sanford, and I'm sorry I didn't. I've been fascinated with the wonderful things going on here, the Enrichment Center, the Temple Theater. There's so many things that make this a wonderful, thriving small town. And I know you've been hurt by unemployment the same that Chatham County has. Similar to the western part of Chatham County where I live. As for what I would do, I'm going to listen to the people in your county, to the business leaders here. I've met many of them who have wonderful ideas and are doing great things now. I don't know enough about Lee County yet, but I'm going to continue to learn. I'm going to continue to go to functions here. I want to be available. That's what I've done as a school board member in Chatham County. I have been available to people. That's one reason I've been reelected. I want to do what the people here believe needs to happen in Lee County. I'm also taking some advice from Bob Atwater, who has been a wonderful mentor.
Thank you. Same question?
Thank you. I think the interesting thing about this part of Lee County is actually not a whole lot different from any other part of Lee County or any other part of North Carolina. The best part about campaigning for an election is going door to door, and I have enjoyed that, and I've done quite a bit of it. If I haven't gotten to your door yet, I'm sorry, but I'm working on it. What I have heard from people over and over and over again is jobs. It's all about jobs. And last weekend when I was here, young people were coming up to me and saying, Ms. Wright, please help us get jobs. The other thing that I hear is about schools. I've talked to parents, I've talked to teachers, I've talked to principals, including both superintendents from both counties. The parents tell me that they love their schools, they love their teachers, they love the community schools, they love the principals, but they don't feel that they're getting value for their tax dollar. And that's something that as a parent, now as a grandmother, we need to make sure that we are providing value for your tax dollar and productivity and good outcomes for our children.
All right, thank you very much. Good question, and Cathy Wright, this is for you. In the questionnaire you completed for the Herald, you discussed right-sizing government. How will you do that if you're elected?
There are some core things that a government is supposed to do, and that is public safety, that is providing infrastructure, such as roads and bridges, providing for those who cannot take care of themselves, and providing an education as is dictated by our state constitution. And within those things, those are the areas that we need to concentrate. The General Assembly this past 2 years started an effort to look at ways to find inefficiencies, duplication of efforts, and a way to combine things so we know that we're not wasting money, using it not in the right areas, making sure that we fund good programs. and either reduce or eliminate the programs that are not working anymore or are not a good value for our taxpayer dollar. And with that, I would look forward to joining the leadership in Raleigh and continuing that effort. That is a plan on their part, is to work at right-sizing government and making it more efficient and better value for you.
Thank you. Deb McManus, this question is for you 2 minutes. In the questionnaire you completed for the Herald, you say you favor implementing 3/4 cent sales tax to help reinstate education funding. How will you convince voters that this additional tax is a good idea in this economy?
We had a 1 cent sales tax that was extended and then allowed to sunset, so it was dropped. Putting back, and I didn't feel, when we had it or when we dropped it, I didn't feel any difference. I don't think a 3/4 cent sales tax is going to be felt by most people. I think to watch our education system begin to erode will be felt by everybody. I mentioned preschool a while ago. Our preschool program was cut by 20%. Now, every study that's done on preschool programs, effective preschool programs, like we had in North Carolina, which was being held up as a national model, says that for every dollar invested in preschool, there's an $8 return down the road. It improves education, it helps your at-risk students be prepared for education, so you're spending less money on remediation. People who have attended preschool were found in a long-term study to actually earn 36% more as adults than people who did not attend the preschools. I think that if you stop and look, we all want what's best for our kids. And if we don't have kids, our neighbors do, or we have grandchildren. I don't have grandchildren yet, and my kids are out of school. But I know that the money put into public education is worth every cent that we invest. I don't think most people feel like education money is being wasted. We spend a lot of money on education because it's very important. It's important to attract in business. It's important to educating our children to be good citizens. It's important to help people go out and be successful in life. I think everybody, even we had a little forum a couple of years back in Bennett. Bennett's a small rural farm community. People showed up in their overalls, their work clothes, and yet every one of them was saying, don't cut funds for education. It's important. Thank you.
Okay, next question number 4, and this will be for you first. Lee County is sharply divided on the issue of hydraulic fracturing and natural gas exploration. What's your view on how will you address the issue in Raleigh?
I understand that Lee County is sharply divided, and I understand the reasons. It's seen as a possibility for jobs. But I think the cost is too great. This is an area where we routinely suffer drought. It will require millions of gallons of water to be pumped into these injection systems to pump the gas back out. Then you have contaminated wastewater that you have to deal with. Very often it's put in wells in the ground where it is stored. Now, in many of the states where they have hydraulic fracturing now, there are gag orders on what those chemicals are that they're putting in the water. They consider it proprietary information and they don't release what goes into the water. In some states, physicians are not allowed to know. If a patient comes in with a problem, the physician is not allowed to know what the patient might have been exposed to unless the patient is considered an emergency situation. And then the physician is under a gag order, legally bound not to tell anyone what chemicals that was that that patient was exposed to. Even if they refer them to another physician, they can't tell the next physician. I'm very concerned about our individual safety. I'm very concerned about the drought, the lack of water. In Chatham County, and probably in a lot of Lee County, we still have over half our people on wells. I can't see that the possibility of 500 to 600 jobs for possibly 5 to 6 years with no guarantee that they're going to go to local people is worth the possibility of contaminating our drinking water from now on. So I am very much against the fracking, at least until we know a whole lot more about it. Oh, and by the way, the information about physicians came from the American Medical News September issue.
Thank you. Cathy Wright, same question.
I have said, and it's on my website, even though some people take it out of context, that I would support exploration of shale gas and hydraulic fracturing if responsible regulations and oversight could be developed to protect our citizens, our environment, and our natural resources. If you come away from tonight and remember anything that I had to say, please remember that I care about our environment, our water, our air, our public health, and our property owners. I care about increasing jobs, increasing tax revenue, and decreasing our reliance on foreign oil. I await the proposed regulations from the Mining and Energy Commission, and then we will decide whether we vote to accept those regulations. When I'm in the legislature, I will await those proposed regulations. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm going to ask one additional question. It was a question that I asked in the first session, and I'll start with you. We've had several education governors in a row, but that doesn't seem to be reflected in our state's test scores. What's your solution to making North Carolina's education system better? 2 minutes.
We need to put the education dollars first toward our teachers and in the classroom with our children. I am a student-first education advocate, and we need to support and fund our teachers and our classrooms first before we put priority funds into administration and bureaucracy. Each child learns at a different level, and the teachers need to have the tools so that they can meet the individual needs of those students. I think that if we were to put more funds directly to our teachers and into the classroom, that will affect a better change. If we truly value education, we must truly value our teachers. Thank you.
I certainly agree about valuing teachers. My grandmother was a teacher, my mother was a teacher, and my daughter is a teacher. She teaches in a Title I high minority school in Charlotte-Mecklenburg. And she's a great teacher. She was a North Carolina teaching fellow. Now, we might have had several education governors in a row, and I think we were making a lot of progress. We were being held up as a national model for what you do right in education. But if a governor doesn't have a General Assembly that will work with him or her, then they can't accomplish what they want to. We saw cuts to education, and I don't think it was our governor's choice to see. I do wish she had thought harder against it. I've made it clear, I think education is perhaps the most important thing we do as a state as far as attracting business. I think poverty is a key to our problems with education, and I think as we get more jobs and we don't have children that are homeless attending school, my daughter has 2 homeless children in her class right now. I think that when people can make a good living, our schools will also do better. I think it's a mutual growing, and I think North Carolina has to support education to be successful.
All right, thank you. Yes, closing statements. We're going to do 1 minute. I'm just trying to go through my notes to figure out who's first, and I believe it's you. Closing statements, 1 minute.
Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful opportunity to be here. I want to know a little bit more about myself. I'm eager to talk with you if you have further questions. Email me or go to my website. I am eager to work with you. I am eager to be your voice. That is something that I told the State Employees Association of North Carolina, who, by the way, have endorsed me. When I had my interview, I said, you may not agree on everything, but I want to listen, learn your issues, and I want to be your voice. I want to be your advocate. You will always have a place at the table with me when I am in the legislature. You may not be the same party, we may not be agreeable on the issues, but I have worked in legislatures in Massachusetts, Virginia, and in North Carolina as lobbyists, and it was very important for me to work on both sides of the aisle and to gather support for my clients' issues, and they learned that my word was my trust. So I ask for your support and I ask for your voice. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. 1 minute.
1 minute's not much time to tell you why you should vote for me. I've been endorsed by a lot of organizations, the League of Conservation Voters, the North Carolina Advocates for Justice, the North Carolina Association of Educators, the state AFL-CIO, Planned Parenthood, the Sierra Club, Lily's List, and Lily's List, among others. I've been reelected in my county 3 times because I'm responsive to people. I got an email from a parent needing something for a PTA this week, and she said, I'm sending this to you. I know you're busy, but I'm sending it to you because I know you'll take care of it. That's what I did. That's how I have functioned as a school board member. It's why I've been reelected. It's why I've been supported by my community. I'm very proud of what I do. I'm proud of the accomplishments that I've made in our school system. I want to work for you in this district, just like I have been working for the people of Chatham County for the last 10 years. I won't let you down, and I really appreciate your vote in November. Thank you.
Thank you both again. Please join me in thanking.
Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for coming tonight.